President Trump arriving in Japan just minutes ago, looking to land another huge trade deal for America. After unveiling a flurry of trade deals with multiple Asian countries, Director of Center for Economic Opportunity at the Independent Women's Forum, Patrice Onwuka. We're looking at China later the week. That's the big nugget. That's the trade deal everybody's talking about. There were, though, other trade deals with Thailand, Malaysia, Cambodia, and Vietnam. What is your main takeaway from those deals? Specifically, did we get enough in the way of critical minerals in these deals?
Good to see you, Todd. I mean, I think that we've opened the door for more resourcing in these countries for those rare earth minerals, and I think that's important because as the larger China deal buys time to continue to resource, from other places, these deals certainly open the door to that. But overall, I thought there were some interesting threads across these different deals. We're seeing the president really push for these countries to enforce intellectual property theft, so go after a lot of the theft of American ideas that happens and gets repackaged and resold to American consumers. You saw the opening of new markets for American goods, from agriculture and food to American vehicles going into these countries, and a lot of those non-tariff barriers really being reduced here. And I think that's the untold story in a lot of these tariff negotiations, which is a lot of the ways that other countries make it difficult by increasing the licensing requirements or the hurdle, the labeling of American goods that make it impossible to sell in those markets. So this is a fight, and I think a lot of these trade deals, we're seeing a lot of those different ways that that President Trump is really fighting to ensure that there are fairer markets across the world.
But they are definitely the opening act for the main show, which is the U.S.-China talks. Here's Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent on what he calls a framework in place for a U.S.-China trade agreement. Listen.
President Trump gave me a great deal of negotiating leverage with the threat of the 100% tariffs on November 1st, and I believe we've reached a very substantial framework that will avoid that and allow us to discuss many other things with the Chinese.
Patrice, Bessent goes on to say that as part of that framework, he believes China will, quote, delay its threat to impose export controls on valuable rare earth minerals, but for a year. Is that enough of a concession on these minerals, which are so vital to so much of the technology, like you said, that we use each and every day, and that will be so crucial to us holding back China's advancement in the world? It seems like, all that's at cross purposes.
Yeah, I mean, a year doesn't seem like a lot, but I think that's probably the best you're going to get with China right now. I mean, these negotiations between Scott Bessent and his counterpart have been going on for months and months now. China is absolutely dug in, and they're trying to use, our need for rare earth minerals as a leverage point. Whereas we're trying to stop China from exporting fentanyl into the United States to kill Americans. So, I think that the delay, and certainly the delay provides and de-escalation, which is really important right now. And so the delay is good. We'll see what happens over the next year. I will just say that as Americans are looking at these trade negotiations and deals being inked, I mean, I hope it gives some calm, and I hope regular Americans realize, okay, after all of the volatility that we've seen as a result of the trade negotiations going back to Liberation Day, that there's going to be a better outcome. And I think that's what people are really looking for and hoping for, so that they know that, the prices, even if they're a smidge higher, that there's a greater opportunity for their goods and their small businesses in their communities to be able to compete on a global scale.
Patrice Onwuka, thank you so much. Always great to have you on the program. We appreciate it.